Hello everyone, glad to have you here. Subscribe and activate the bell so you're the first to see new videos.
At the beginning of the story, we find ourselves in Thailand, where a rugged archaeologist named Luke is on the run. Why? Because he liberated an ancient painting from a gang of criminals. Now their leader is hunting him down to get it back. Soon, the gang's goons catch up to Luke, but with his Indiana Jones-level skills, he manages to escape and hop onto a train. As Luke wakes up on the train, he finds a stunning woman sitting right across from him. She looks at him and says, "I'm here for the painting you stole. My men are waiting for my signal to kill you right here." Luke, ever the smooth talker, just smiles and replies, "See those sleeping monks over there? They're actually my guys. Sure, they look old, but you'd be surprised what they can do." Naturally, a fight breaks out between Luke, the woman, and her crew. Though she grabs the painting, Luke just won't let it go. In the end, he snatches it back and dramatically jumps off the train. The next day in London, we meet Luke's sister Charlotte. Recently divorced from her husband Harland, she's lost custody of their son Thomas. Emotionally drained, she returns to the museum where she works, only to find Luke waiting for her. Charlotte clearly isn't thrilled with her dull job, and things take a sharp turn when Luke steals a painting linked to Jesus and makes a run for it. He jumps into his car and somehow convinces Charlotte to come along. She agrees, and with the help of his two old partners, Murphy and Ted, they manage to dodge the police. Later, while Murphy is busy verifying the authenticity of the painting, we learn their father was also an archaeologist obsessed with finding the Fountain of Youth. But when Luke finds out the painting is a fake, he knocks Charlotte out. Family bonding, right? Gives her the painting, and she ends up being interrogated by an Interpol officer on her way back to the museum. Unsurprisingly, she gets fired. Charlotte soon discovers that Harland used her little art theft adventure with Luke as an excuse to win full custody of Thomas. Furious, she storms off to find her brother. There, she learns that a dying billionaire with liver cancer has funded a search for the Fountain of Youth, hoping it might save him. Murphy explains that back in the 17th century, 6 painters supposedly found the fountain. Before sealing it off, they hid clues in 6 different works of art. Since they already have 5 of the original 6, they just need to track down the last one. Charlotte, still upset over losing her son, vents her frustration, until Caravel reassures her, "Don't worry, I've got an army of lawyers. We'll get him back." Before leaving, Charlotte drops a clue, the name of a wealthy man who died a century ago when a ship sank. The very man who supposedly bought the final painting. Luke immediately heads to the main library to research the ship, when suddenly, the same woman from the train shows up and tells him, "If you keep chasing this fountain, I'll stop you myself." Luke, always charming, suggests she just kiss him instead. She's not impressed, and walks out. A little later, Luke meets Charlotte again at Thomas's music recital. He lets Charlotte know he's finally found the location where the ship sank, and if luck's on their side, the painting should still be safe in a waterproof vault. The next day, Caravel, after burning through a mountain of cash, assembles a team to dive down and, using a bunch of giant balloons, bring the century-old wreck back to the surface so Luke and his sister can sneak inside and grab the paintings. A bit later, just as they manage to find the main safe, a radio signal glitch heralds the arrival of a mysterious helicopter. Turns out it's Esme and her crew. They board the ship, and right when Luke and Charlotte get their hands on the paintings and try to leave, Esme's gang corners them and a brawl breaks out. But Luke manages to wipe out Esme's goons, sets things up for himself, and as the balloons pop and the ship starts sinking again, he escapes with his sister, miraculously alive. The next day, Charlotte's ex-husband calls her up saying his company's transferring him to Japan for a year, so he has to hand over custody of their son. Who else could it be but Caravel himself? Later, while working on the 6th painting, they realize the clues point to a notorious demonic book. But just then, international cops discover their secret hideout, and right on cue, the bad guys ambush everyone. Luke tells them to let his sister and colleagues go in exchange for all the paintings, and they agree. Of course, Luke immediately sicks the cops on the thugs and escapes with his team by boat. A few hours later, we see the group on a plane, with Charlotte bringing Thomas along too. A few hours later, they arrive at Austria's main museum. After locating the book, Esme and her crew pop up again, but Luke and the others manage another narrow escape, decrypting the book to uncover a mysterious number. That's when Thomas, being a musician, realizes it looks like a musical note. They play it, upload the recording online, and discover it's an ancient melody pointing to one of the 7 wonders of the world hidden in the desert, meaning the fountain must be beneath the Great Pyramids of Egypt. The next day, we see Esme still alive, definitely not your average human, and her boss tells her, since they're guardians of the fountain, to take the key and protect it. Days later, the group flies in by helicopter with a security team, lands at the Giza pyramids, and starts decoding each section to reach the underground chamber. Meanwhile, the detective and his men arrive, facing fierce resistance from Caravel's hired guns. But Esme's team swoops in just in time to turn the tide, and the detective and Esme chase the others into the pyramid's depths. Down below, the team finds the Fountain of Youth, realizing Caravel was never sick, he just wanted immortality. To test it, he shoots Luke in the chest, forcing him to stagger into the fountain. Luke's blood hits the water, and he's suddenly lifted into the air by the fountain's power. But when he sees his sister's aged face, he refuses to drink. Still, the fountain heals his wounds, including new shots Caravel fires at him. Luke then tells Caravel he didn't drink, leaving it to him instead. Caravel steps into the fountain, but just as he's about to claim eternal youth, Esme shows up and uses the key her boss gave her, turning Caravel into a shriveled old man and finishing him off. Meanwhile, the others see the fountain's door starting to close and make a mad dash for it, escaping alive. At the end, Esme gives Luke a quick kiss and tells him, "If you ever come around here again, I swear I'll kill you next time."